Well, hello everyone and welcome to another episode here on the MIgardener channel. It's harvest day, and that is a great time for every gardener because he begins to see the fruits of his labor end up on the table, and that's what I love the most. I enjoy seeing this stuff grow, but I'm telling you what, when it comes to harvest day, there's nothing better. And so there's a lot to harvest today. We don't have any tomatoes. I made a mess of myself walking through the tomatoes. They're so big, and I had to spray them down with a little baking soda and water mixture because I had tomato blight, and that's never good. And it's because it's been so cold and so wet here. So, but needless to say, the rest of the vegetables are doing fantastic. And when I say fantastic, that's a little bit of an understatement. They're doing better than I could have ever have hoped. So the only thing that's really suffering is the tomatoes, and that's because they're a very hot weather vegetable. But other than that, I like it. So come on, let's go harvest some stuff. The potatoes are not yet ready. I'm assuming I could probably, actually I know I could get some early potatoes, but I won't be harvesting any today simply because I want them to go as large as to get as large as they can, so they have to go as long as they can before I harvest any. But they're loaded up with flowers, and so today I'm going to actually be harvesting the zucchini. And the zucchini is very, very large. And by the way, that is not powdery mildew. That is actually the coloration of the leaves. It's just a different variety. That is my yellow zucchini. And then I also have lots of green. We'll see what we can find in there. But right now I'm going to be picking some yellow. And it's just so great to hear all the honeybees buzzing around. I mean, there is honeybees all around me because they love these zucchini flowers here. And so I do leave the zucchini on until they're done flowering, simply because we don't need them that young anyways. We like them to get as young as possible, but as soon as the flower starts to shrivel up, that's when we pick them. And they are so perfect right about now that, oh yeah, there we go. There's a nice beautiful one. And over here there's another nice beautiful one. And oops, it didn't get all the way through there. Okay, there we go. There's a nice, beautiful one right there. And what's so great about this is, as I was harvesting, we had some neighbors that were over visiting and checking out the garden, and looks like I'm only going to be taking home 2 zucchini because of the 10 I gave them 8 because we already have 7 or 8 at home, and there's going to be another 10 or 12 coming on just in the yellow variety alone. So we've gotten about 20 yellow zucchini so far this season in the past 4 days. So it's insane. But we also have green and the Egyptian white coming on as well. So we're gonna have so much that I love sharing whenever I can because it's so great, because people never get to taste the flavors of an organic garden until they either try it themselves or they get it from someone who grows it or they pay a ton at the store. And beets, we have beets. I'm so excited for these. We're gonna get some beets here. Ooh, yes, look at that. That's a great size beet. Just perfect enough for us. We don't like our beets to get too big and woody. We like them nice and tender because we chop them up and put them in salads. So we eat them while they're tender. If they get too large, we will definitely pickle them. But as of right now, they're looking really good. And also, beet greens are awesome in salads. And all of our beets are just so beautiful. I love them. So that's 3 so far. I'm gonna keep harvesting. We have a ton to pick here, but they're just gonna keep coming up, and hopefully we can have more than one harvest. I don't think they're all gonna need to be harvested today. Some of them are almost beginning to go to seed. So you know, I'm gonna let those ones go to seed, but hopefully, I don't think we're gonna have to pick all of them today. There's some dandies in here. We have a white and we have a red. We have two different types of red. We have a white, then we also have a Chioggia red, which is a red with white stripes. Man, oh man, look at them beets. Yeah, those are perfect size right there. That is a gorgeous, gorgeous beet. And this is all we're taking home right now. We still have probably 500, 600 beets here, but we have another 5 or 6 we harvested, but this is great right here. This is the size that we want. And they're about the size of maybe a golf ball. And they're beautiful, beautiful beets. We have the Detroit Dark Red, we have the Ox Blood, and somewhere in there is a Chioggia. There's a couple Chioggia, but those aren't ready all the way yet. They're still kind of small, so there you go. Let's move on to the next thing. And when it comes to Swiss chard, I'm not even sure what we're going to do with it all. This was insane amounts of Swiss chard, and little did I know that we would have this much. I knew it produced a lot, but this is just insane. All right, so I guess we're just gonna fill a bag up with the Swiss chard and the kale, but this is insane. And when I say insane, it takes a lot to make me say insane, but I mean, these leaves are like just insane. I mean, that's the only word I can even describe them as, because they're so big. Oh, gosh. If you see my kale starting to take over a large city, I apologize. I'm trying my best to contain it. This is just out of control. I mean, I'm gonna need probably 4 or 5 bags. I mean, that was one plant I just took 2 leaves from. Look at my yellow. Look at this. Look at this yellow. My hand does no justice to the size of this kale leaf. It's like just huge. And I mean, good heavens, I'm not gonna grab a knife. I'm just gonna take scissors, I think. I mean, I'm not gonna get the job done if I use a knife. I have some orange here, some beautiful orange. I'm just gonna take a bunch of different colors here and hope someone at home wants this stuff. I mean, we'll use a lot of it, but we can't use all of this. Good heavens. And it produces all the way through the summer, which is why I like to grow it, because I mean, it's such a prolific producer that you can bet your bottom dollar you're gonna have more than your fair share. So I'm gonna harvest some of this over here. Looks really nice too. I mean, some of this, I accidentally planted 2 plants in one, and it's just getting crowded out, so gotta thin the herd a little bit. I got some pink here, and Swiss chard is actually considered beetroot. So it's actually just a rootless or a bulbless beet, and I was informed of that by a couple of my friends in the UK. So thank you. I had no idea. I just always considered it as Swiss chard, but yeah, it is actually a bulbless beet. So if you like these, you're gonna like beet greens. They taste exactly the same, no difference at all. The beet greens, though, I will say, are just a tad bit more tender. Oh my word. I'm probably out of frame. I'm somewhere over here in this insane forest of Swiss chard. And I'm not really sure how I'm gonna get through here without crushing anything, but I have to, because these leaves are beginning to almost crowd themselves out at this point. And I've completely deserted the knife theory. I'm just snapping off leaves at this point. I don't think I'm going to damage the root system much on these, because on the more tender plants, I like to use a knife because I don't like ripping at them. Just my personal preference, but yeah, I've completely deserted that theory. I had some people come into the garden. I like to give garden tours because I mean, who does not like looking at a great garden? and I was giving a garden tour, and someone actually said, "Hey Luke, what variety of rhubarb is that?" And I cracked up because it's, for a gardener, we all know what Swiss chard is, but for someone on the outside that's maybe a new gardener or someone who does not yet have a garden, it does look a lot like rhubarb, especially the red does. But yeah, they thought I had some yellow rhubarb growing in here, and this is like, now you see me, now you don't. That's a big kale leaf. Wow. Then again, that does no justice for the actual size of it. It is like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to describe this. I might have to go measure that one, but that's a good, probably foot wide by 2 feet long, not including the stem here. It's just insane. And last but not least is the kale. Actually, there's something else, but I want to leave it as a surprise. We're just picking some kale because it's one of those things that if it gets too big, people don't want it, and we make kale chips with it. But for people that like salads and stuff, that just like chopping it up or cooking it like collard greens, they don't like it to be all stringy. So we just like picking it a little bit. I mean, it's still mammoth, but we like to get it, you know, at a decent size before it gets too big. And the surprise was the cabbage. I have 2 cabbage here that are ready to harvest, and I'm so proud of these. They are so beautiful. And it's a testament to this garden because I used absolutely no fungicides, no pesticides, no herbicides, absolutely nothing, but just what Mother Nature gives me. And these are huge. And they're not as big as I have seen. I've seen bigger, but for what I've grown and the variety, this is a Copenhagen. It's an early cabbage. All right, there we go. That is a huge, huge cabbage. In my standards, that's a beautiful cabbage, and it's so healthy. There we go. There's another one. And so we have 2 beautiful, beautiful cabbages. And so now the last thing to add to the grocery box here is the cabbage, and I have just enough space for them. That was a perfect amount. Everything fit in here perfectly. And there you go. You have the the kale, the Swiss chard, the beets, the cabbage, and the yellow zucchini there. And the last thing we have to do is get some herbs, but that's just to keep them bushy. So we're going to make sure that we keep pruning them back so they don't go to seed on us, and that's all we have to do really. So we have more than we know what to do with, so we'll probably just dry them. But yeah, so we ended up with at least, oh god, that's at least probably 40 pounds, 50 pounds of produce there. And we're definitely gonna put some smiles on people's faces, which is the whole point of this garden. None of this will be sold for profit, simply because I would rather give than to make profit off of this. That's why the ads are on. So I thank everyone that does watch those ads, because it does help me to cover the overhead for this garden, everything that goes into it, the time, because I work part-time at a job so that I can spend part-time in the garden here putting out videos for you all. So I hope you all enjoyed, and a lot of people have been asking what I do for work, because it does take a lot of time to maintain a garden of this size. And so there you go. Yeah, so the ads do pay for that other part of what I would be making at another job. So I appreciate that more than anything, and it really does mean the world to me. So thank you all, and hopefully it's definitely gonna put some smiles on people's faces and some food in our stomach. All right, I'll catch you all later on next episode. See ya. Bye.